So many of you are preparing to go back to college or going to college for the first time. So many of you are parents of kids that are about to go to college, or you know someone that's about to go to college. You're going to want to send them this episode. But all of you that are listening, these are simple things and truths that are true for anyone. Wherever you are in life, these things work. But this is specifically answering the questions that we got about what is my advice for people when they head off to college. In fact, I got to meet a girl recently and her mother. They stopped me at a restaurant and we got to talk. And I got to hear that she is about to head off to school. And she's going up north and she's so excited. And it'll be a beautiful, awesome campus. And it just got me thinking too about that moment of showing up for the first time. Your parents head off and you're on your own. I remember it for myself when I was a freshman at the University of Arkansas. I remember it when I dropped off 2 kids now and we got the beds made and the stuff put away and we drive off. And that feeling that you have when your parents drive off. And it's good. It's really good. It's also overwhelming. And so, what I wanted to do in this episode was give you steps that I would take as a new freshman to college or even as a senior. It is not too late to have a healthy college experience. Step one, and I really believe if you do this, a lot of the other things I'm talking about are going to fall into place. You find a church. My son never committed and joined a church until after college. My daughter, I believe it was week 2 or 3. She visited 2 or 3 churches and then she picked her favorite and she joined the church. She began to tithe. She began to meet with a mentor. She walked up to the pastor and said, "Hey, could you tell me who could mentor me?" She was so intentional. And that girl had a Bible study she was leading by the end of her freshman year. She was involved. She knew families. She was going over to families' houses for dinner. She put herself in the midst of a body. And that will lead to so many of the things we're going to talk about. But you can't wait long because the semester flies by, the year flies by, and all of a sudden college flew by and you never joined a church. So I would suggest visiting 2, 3, 4 of the healthiest churches and then pick one. You're not going to find a perfect church and join. Don't just attend. All your friends, they're probably going to just attend unless you send them this podcast. You should join. You should become a member. And all of you that are listening that aren't currently headed to college and yet still haven't joined your church and you've lived somewhere a decade, it's time. Join your church. Why? Because it begins to plug you into a body. And what that means is it provides you opportunities to give, to serve, to be known, to be in a small group, to disciple people. All of that comes in and out of a commitment to a local church. So join a church. First thing, visit several and then pick one before the end of first semester. Number 2, pick your spot. Find your spot. What I mean by that is there's going to be a place that represents time alone with God. It may be your dorm room, but it probably won't be because you're probably living with someone else in that room. Where is your spot for you to get away and go meet with God? Both of my kids had one. I had one as well, where a place I enjoyed going and getting away from the craziness of my room, my roommates, the dorm, my sorority house, whatever it was. I just needed an escape. And you need an escape. You need a place that you can go that's safe. By the way, please do not go to some dark field in the middle of the night. I think my daughter did that once or twice. Don't do that. But find a safe place that might be outdoors, that might be in a library, that you regularly know I can go here and I can escape the chaos and I can pray and I can meet with Jesus. Have a journal, have your Bible, have it ready to go. Pack it in a little bag that you can have ready to go and to go meet with the Lord. And yes, you can meet with the Lord anywhere at any time, but I think having that set apart space actually helps you cultivate more of a safe place to get away from all the anxieties and all the things you're going to face, all the disappointments, all the difficult relationships that you're going to have and have to work out. That's normal, by the way. All of that happens to all of us, especially when you get to college. And just be yourself and just be with God. Might be a coffee shop. You find your place, but set it and make it a regular thing. You will look back on college and that will be one of your favorite memories. Number 3, find your mentor. You need someone to pour into you. You can find that in numerous ways. One might be through the church that you join. Another one might be from a parachurch organization that you visit, that you get involved in. My mentor, as y'all know, shaped my life. I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing today if it were not for Michelle Boast, her passion, her fire to teach me the word of God, to evangelize, to care about discipleship, to prioritize it in my life, to pray for my friends that didn't know God. It's just one of my favorite parts of my college experience. And yet you have to seek that out. It's not going to find you. You have to say, I want to be discipled. And so it might even be an older girl. It might be a senior if you're a freshman, but find the person, I think, outside of college so it's safe that can really invest in you and help you grow. These are such pivotal years in your life. And they're also years that you have, I know you're going to feel really busy, but they're also years that you have more margin than you will. You can show up at somebody's house, even if they have kids, and help them with laundry and learn from them. So choose to invest in a family's life, choose to invest in someone outside of college's life so you feel like you have a home and a person that cares about you and you care about them. The next one, find your people. And I would just say this, that by the time it's second semester, freshman year, begin to narrow down. These are the people I really think love God and I want to run with for the next few years. And they don't need to be perfect, y'all. You don't need to have absolutely everything in common, but pick them. And then I would say this, tell them that you picked them. Say, listen, I have a lot of friends. I have bukus of friends, but I really want you to know me and I want to do life with you in an intentional way. And so begin to meet together, begin to go deeper than just having fun and hanging out and going places and watching movies and talking about dating. Like just take it deeper, y'all. Take it deeper and say, you're going to be my people. And I want to do life with you for the next few years. And I want to run after God together. And so some of you are going to end up on campuses where those people feel really hard to find. I would just say, look in the right places. There's always, in fact, I've never heard of a campus that does not have a parachurch ministry. These ministries go to these campuses and they might be small and yet they're there. They exist. And so go find them and ask, hey, who are some other people that are following God? I need to know them. These intentional choices you make in the first few months of college will set your course. And I want to say this. A lot of my friends in college partied. I did not. I was very tempted to, but I mean, candidly, I just already fallen so in love with God that I didn't want that. And yet I was oftentimes really lonely because there weren't a lot of other people that were choosing not to party. So what I did was I would be a driver. I would take care of people. I would go places they were going, but I just didn't participate in that. And I made lots of friends and they knew that I didn't judge them. I constantly said that out loud. I said that always, but I had these few people that I was running with that loved God and they weren't in my sorority at the time. They weren't, there weren't many of them. I had to be really intentional to see them, but we had each other and that helped me not feel so lonely. So you might be around, and I hope you are around a lot of people that don't know God, and that's great. I think those were some of the best years where I had to love people and show them God in a really special, unique way. But you also need the few people that are committed to run with you and to do life with you and to help you love God. And they don't have to be in your sport or on your intramural team, or they don't have to be in your major. They don't have to be in your club, whatever that is, but you got to find them. And that's going to take probably at some of your campuses where there aren't as many believers. It's going to take intentionally really seeking them out. But by second semester, your freshman year, it'd be great if you kind of had your people. And the reason that matters is because you're going to be choosing where you're going to live the next year. You're going to be choosing what you're going to be most involved in. And so once you kind of know, okay, these are my people, you can kind of prioritize everything else around that. It is the most important part of college. How you, all your parents are going, no, grades are the most important part. I disagree. I think the people you run with will shape you in life more than your academic studies. At the same time, prioritize the job you are going to college for, because you will never regret that. That will set you up for life. But your friends will shape you more than anything else you do in college. So choose them well and choose them quickly and commit to them. Here's what I want you to hear. Guys, girls, all of you that are doing this season of life. This all applies to when you start over in a new town, when you begin your life as an adult, which Connor will talk about as well. All these little steps, this is how you make a thriving life. This is how you do it, is you find your place, you find your people, you find your church, you commit, you serve, you grow. And if you do that, I promise you will see fruit. And it's not just fruit in your own life. It is fruit in the lives around you. What I think of as college. It set the course for my life. I never wanted to miss out on what God was doing because I learned to adventure with God, to pray, to look for ministry around me, to believe the best about people, to pray for them, to hope for them. I saw so much cool ministry happen for me in those years that it set a passion in my heart that I wanted to always do that. And I felt called to always do that in the midst of college. And so I would just say, believe that this is worth it and that your choices to follow God they're possible. You don't have to go and be drunk for 4 years. You don't have to go be high for 4 years. You don't have to live the way everybody around you is probably going to live, sleeping around. You don't have to do that. You can live set apart. In these years, you will watch God work and move through you. I'm watching it happen all over the place through my kids, through all of you that are listening. I you know how I feel about you. You're changing the world. You're changing the world. You're changing the world. I want to encourage you. I see God in you. I see the zeal. I see what's happening. And those of you that aren't following God yet, that got sent this by some grandparent or somebody that you're like, I don't even know who this girl is. Let me just say, God sees you. He loves you. He likes you. And he wants to adventure with you. And he has plans to prosper you, not to harm you. His plans are good. They're the way he built us to live. And so his passion and his hope for you is that you would live in his ways, not because he's mean, not because he's a tyrant, not because he has horrible plans for your life, but because he loves you and he built you and he wants to see you thrive.